How you doing, guys? This is Hybridsteel. Welcome to another Hydroneer 2.0 video, where today I want to see how much that this computer can actually run. Now, I want to run through my settings first before I go into anything. So, for all those people out there who are interested in what I actually run, normally I run it on 60 FPS, like capped. I put on vertical sync as well, because it sort of helps lag and the joys of life. I'm basically playing on high. I turn motion blur down to low, and I turn bloom off. Bloom is something that causes problems with games. Now, if you're not familiar with like any high-end games, if you turn bloom off, things seem to run better. I don't know why, but for me, it's just something I do. I'm running a Ryzen 7 3700X, not overclocked. I'm running 32 gig of Corsair Vengeance 3200 RAM, and I'm running a 2060 Super. So basically a mid-tier PC. Nothing majorly fancy, but it was enough money, let's put it that way. So the reason why I'm running into all this is because currently I'm running at 60 FPS, and I've set up 350 drills, and at the moment I haven't got any smelters on the line. I was literally just sort of like piling up, ready to like get all my bits and pieces up there. So the reason why I did this is because what I want to do is I want to show you this build. Now, I'm running 350 drills. I haven't put any mergers in yet, and I'm still running at 55 frames per second. This, to me, seems a little bit mad. Now, obviously, it's dropping a little bit at the moment because, well, it's going to. There's lots of particles all over the floor, and it's making a mess. It's not going anywhere. It's slowly going to grind itself down. But even with this much running through the game right now, it's not dropping as bad. Now, if I turn my drills off and then just let it run out for a bit, all my drills are off, and the frames are going back up, even though I've got all this stuff laying around. We're at 45, going up to 50 frames per second, and things are still being processed, and this massive amount of crap is all over the floor. This is why I like this game. The optimization for this is getting much better. But if this can run 350 drills without having to put them into smelters, imagine where else I can take this. That's the plan. I want to see how far I can now push this game. I'm running 350 drills, tier 1 drills, so nothing overly special, at 24 FPS. That's insane. 350. So the average computer, like your average potato computer, should be running fairly well. So, what's the plan? Well, if it can cope with 350, maybe it can cope with 700. So now, I'm going to go off. I'm going to go and build another 350 drills, a couple of extra conveyor belts, and we'll see how it runs. I'm probably going to be building them right where I'm standing, so we've got all this space to work in. And I completely understand the fact that some people can't afford a machine like this, and I completely get it. But if I can run 350, that means the average person should be able to run a good 100. A good 100. Obviously optimized and well made. Don't mess around too much, you'll have a decent build. Give me a second, I'll be right back. We'll have this running at, well, a ridiculous amount. Alright, welcome back. I've added another 350 drills to this thing. It's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700 drills. I haven't built this big for a very long time. The last time I built like this was with Goliath drills, so it was like 1.4. After that, there was no real point. You know, things used to get in the way a lot when it comes to big builds. So this is the first time I've gone over a couple of hundred in one build, alright? Normally, 240 was my cap with the optimizations of the game. Seems to be getting to a point where we can start doing really big builds, and should be alright. So let me just see where we're at for FPS on this, and run down here, water's running, and turn my drills on. So if it fires at least once, that means we're running, it's now officially a 700 drill build, right? That means we've done once. Now it's gone round twice. I bet this looks pretty from up here. Look at that. Admittedly, yes, we're running at like 16 frames per second, but That's glorious in comparison to how this game used to run. Like, it's just running so... Like, it's going to be stuttery, alright? I'm not even going to lie. It's going to be a little bit manky. But I've never been able to run this many drills this quickly like this before. Never. So we're still running at like 8 FPS. That's pretty good for a 700 build. There's only one way I can go, and that's up. Now, I know it's going to get stuttery. I know it's going to get really horrible. But we haven't done... I've never done 1,000 build. All I have to do is add another 300 drills to this and we're good. So that's probably where I'm going to go. Nice. Nice and smooth. Right, okay. So I'm going to... There's a couple of things I want to talk about just quickly with this before I move on to, like, stupid test. Now, first off, this got down to 9 FPS, maybe 8 FPS at 700 drills. I have never been able to run 700 drills at this frames before. And to put that into perspective, even when I had the 880 Goliath build, it took me a freaking age to be able to go, hey, check this out, and then push the button, and then I had to wait 10 minutes to do anything. It was that horrible. So being able to run 700 drills, I mean, yes, I know, I've got a nicer computer than some people. I get that. But for me, being able to run this many, this means your average potato computer should be able to run a fairly decent build. That's what I'm getting at with this. It's not... I'm not sitting here swinging a big dick around going, hey, check me out, I'm better than you. I'm doing this to show you that if I can run this and you're running a lesser computer, then you still can run... You should still be able to build a decent build. This machine made $138,000 or Hydrocoin in a very short space of time. Now, you know, I mean, the downside to it is, you know, I only did it for a couple of seconds. No, just a couple of runs. And it made that much money by just having that many out. Imagine what you can do with that money every sort of like 3 or 4 hits. That'd be insane, wouldn't it? Right, well, there is only one inevitable clause for me to do. We're up 700. I think I have to kick this up to 1,000. I think I have to. Well, there it is. The giant, squarey, rectangle thing of drills. I think at this point it is actually a square. It's quite big by quite big. So we've got 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,000. Currently, we're running at 1,000 drills. I haven't turned it on yet, so I'm pretty sure this is going to turn into the stuttering, which is going to be hilarious. I did work out that I have like 25 on each. If I want to fill that side up as well, it's 25 drills that side, so that's not too bad. It's all good, but we're going to be testing now with 1,000 drills. 1,000. To give you a little bit of history, if you're not that aware of the stuff that I've been doing way in the past when this game first came out, it was hard enough running 100. It was hard enough running 50 drills. It was hard enough running 25. 25! That's how hard this game used to run years ago. So the advancement is alright. Even if I get 1 frame per second, right, that is going to be better than I've ever run before. To put that into perspective. So here we go. I'm going to turn this valve. And I am going to have a little bit of a panicky heart attack right now. Now, unfortunately, this mod is a little bit broken. It seems to be that the chalkboards do clear themselves off. Thankfully, I only have 2 switches. Water. And that is every single conveyor belt now running. And my drills. I'm going to sit up here for a second and just watch devastation. So that's 2. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. We'll go 1 more as a test. 1 more. So when that lot is finished... Now, the thing is I know that's not great running. Like 7 FPS, but I'm running 1,000 drills. I've never been able to do this before in the history of this game. Ever. So unfortunately, it does get stuttery. It is going to completely just die. But 1,000 drills. That's just mind-blowing to me. It really is. You can see the ripple effect in the drills now. The water signal's clogging up. It's getting bad. It's going to be... It's basically having a little bit of like a fit right now. Let me just run away and you can see it a little bit more now. So all those lights at the back now have all turned off. All the thumpers have stopped going. We're running at 5 FPS, which is not great, but we're running 1,000 bits of dirt per couple of seconds. There is probably in a region of about 4,000 to 5,000 bits of dirt with all the ore on the conveyor belt as well. That's a lot of stuff that is now just in this game. I'm going to wait until it all calms down and then we can have a proper chat. So, now I can have a conversation with you, and now I can actually sort of like make you sort of understand why this is such a big thing. Now, number one, it's currently running at 38 FPS without doing anything apart from those belts running. Let me just turn them off to see what happens. So that's the belts off. That's the full water pressure off. 40 FPS, 42 maybe. So this basically means there is so much in this game right now that it takes that many frames away from me to even start. If I was still running at 1.1, two things would happen. Number one, I would be gobsmacked that I was able to get this much onto one place. And number two, the game would literally have a heart attack, and just die. 1,000 drills is something that is one of those goals you get to and just go, holy crap. Now, Higgs Boson Matt did this with a Goliath build, with a gravity build. We were both doing this at the same time. He went one step further than me and went to 1,023. But to put this into perspective, we're now in 2.0.8. The game has advanced so much that 1,000 drills can now be run. All admit it at 5 FPS. To put this into perspective, back in the day when we were making these like 1,000 drill builds, we were running at 1 frame per minute, maybe 2 minutes. It would literally take 15 to 20 minutes for one cycle to go through. This is now going like at 5 frames per second with countless cycles going. And that is something to be astonished by. I mean, for most people, that's probably not a big thing. But for people who have seen Hydroneer grow and remember the good old days when it was just a crap storm waiting to happen every time you turned the water on, genuinely, and watching the game have a fit and crap itself, we're now able to run drill builds like this. This is mind-boggling. And the reason why I'm more impressed by this is, yes, Foul Ball Hangover is more developed now. It's more in tune with like what people want to build. And the optimization is slowly getting there. So as raw ore goes, we did what, 8 or 9 cycles? 10 cycles maybe? 231,000 hydrocoin. Your average potato computer, let's say a 1080... let's say with 8 to 16 gigs worth of RAM, maybe an older processor, you could still be working at maybe 100, 150 drills if you just work on the drill build itself. Don't worry about the scenery and everything else. You have to work within your means. You have to be able to work with like a build that you're going for. But this is literally just a table test. Does this game run it? Yes, it does. Is it pretty? No. I mean, if I put this build in front of a mirror, it would crack the mirror. It is that ugly. But to be able to build this big on my mid-tier computer is another level of just how good the game is slowly getting. The optimizations that are going in through the patches, and as these come out, it's going to get better each time. And there will be noticeable differences as we progress. But to have a build that works like this, you wouldn't have been able to do even just a year ago. And this is what I mean. Even yes, okay, it's running at 5, but 5 FPS, mate, that's just so much better than it used to be. And it may not seem it, but it really, really is. There is one goal in my mind. I want to be able to run 10. I want to be able to run a 10,000 build. It's not going to happen just yet. But being able to run 10,000 drills, that would just be like monumental. It would be impressive, but it would be a monumental thing. And maybe at some point in the future, we will be able to do that. But we'll just have to see how things go. It's been impressive, though. So thank you very much for joining me. This has been Hybridsteel. If you have enjoyed this video or anything that I do else on this channel, hit that like, subscribe, notifications button below for all other updates. And I'll be back here with a brand new video, live stream, or whatever else I do on this channel. Until then, thank you very much for kicking by. I apologise for my crappy voice and how bad I sound because not being well. But the show must go on, even if I'm half-assed falling asleep on my stream. But yeah, it was a fun time. So thank you very much for kicking by. Thank you very much for putting up with me, and I'll see you all later. I want to say peace out, have fun, enjoy everything you guys do. Boom. Fist bump to you.